All right. What's going on, party people? This your man Griff. Just throw out here another video. Hopefully, this is a video of encouragement for many of you. Um, I always talk about every signing is important, and whether it's regardless of the time of day or the distance you have to travel, and sometimes even the pay. And last night I had a great signing. Yesterday was cool, and I'm gonna tell y'all just so y'all know, me and spiders don't get along. I had a signing early in the day. It was a reverse mortgage, older couple, and part of the reason why my back is hurting because they had this hard chair, and I was there with them for like an hour and a half, and I forgot my cushion. It wasn't in the car, so I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I bend down to pick something up off my bag because I had to add an all-purpose acknowledgement, and it was a spider, and I'm freaking out. And it wasn't just no little like just little spider. It was a wolf spider, and them things fast, and I think they're aggressive. All I know is that sucker was on my papers that I had sitting on the floor next to me. And I was like, oh my goodness, what in the world am I going to do? And I'm sitting here, heart racing. I'm trying to be as discreet as possible. So I knew I had a mask, an extra mask in my bag. So I took the mask and flung it at it and it ran off, but I couldn't see where it went. So when I went to get the papers, it started running. I think it was coming at me. So I was able to step on it real quick without them really noticing it and took that sucker out. But after that, I was just nervous the whole rest of the time I was there. It felt like stuff was crawling on me. I kept seeing arachnophobia movies, spiders coming down the wall. I was just like, I was just like, you know what? This is just too much for me. So I made it through that. But that order sort of put me behind because there was an older couple and they just took their time signing. They was moving at their own pace. So I said all of that to say that come my 7 o'clock signing, which the documents got to me, and in my opinion, a little late, but I got them nonetheless. I had to call the customer and let him know that I was going to be running late, and um, I had still had to drop the documents off because I had to do scan backs on everything, and then drop the documents off. And I didn't want to take a chance of saying, well, I couldn't drop the documents off, so I'll do it today. So I was like, no, let me go do it and let the customer know I'll be there shortly. So I get there, and within 5 minutes of me sitting down with this gentleman and his wife, very nice couple, he asked me for my business cards. And I was like, interesting. Now, when I first got into the house, of course, I apologized for the tardiness. He said, no problem, it's no big deal. And there was a nice little area where they wanted me to sit down at, but I could tell that carpet was really, really nice. And I said, sir, prefer me to take my shoes off. And it caught him off guard. He was like, yeah, sure, go ahead on. Took my shoes off, sat down, and like I said, within 5 minutes of me sitting there, hadn't even really got going because he had to get his ID, second ID. His wife had to get some stuff together. Then I had to record everything. And he was like, can I get your business card? I'm like, okay, here you go. Gave him two, going through the process and got to the loan application. And he caught me off guard, but it made me perk. I was like, wait a minute, something's up with this guy. Something different about him. He said, hey, how you like the Erla? I'm like, well, Hulu? Like Hulu? What are you talking about, man? You like the Erla? You like the Universal Residential Loan application? I'm like, oh, I'm like, he said, full disclosure, I'm a loan officer. I like, because I noticed he was really paying attention to me. And this is why I keep sharing with y'all. You gotta realize that you could be in front of everybody. That they could just be. You think they just a regular old person, and they somebody super cool and special, and so he's a loan officer, and he's doing fairly well. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay. And he's like, yeah. I said, how you like it? I said, I'm not really a fan of it. I like the regular 4 page. And he said, yeah, we are. I'm not either. So we get, chit chatted a little bit. Asked me about my notary business. About how I like being a notary, how long I've been doing it, and everything. And he asked me that before he told me he was a loan officer. So I'm like, okay, this guy, he's checking me out for a reason. So what I share with y'all a lot is that at any point in time, you could be in an interview for a potential direct client or some other type, well, I guess you could say direct client or just some additional business. And had I not been late and we had that same, I probably would have been able to expound on a few other little things to him. Like, I do commercial, I traveled to do different locations and all that, but my mind was so focused on getting this done that I feel I didn't take a full advantage of being able to sell myself to him. But I think I was impressive enough with him. So once I figured where he was coming from, I made sure even the more that I got, I did things the right way because I could tell he was watching. And so if I needed an all-purpose acknowledgement, I did it, did everything the way it's supposed to be done. And at the end, I just told him to say, also, I'm an e-notary. So if you ever get in a situation where you need something done online, just give me a call. You like, hey, no problem, thanks. Fast forward to today, I'm sitting in traffic at a stoplight, and I hear somebody honking at me. It was him next to me. I guess he was on his way to work, and he was like, and I honestly didn't recognize him because of the mask thing. And you're like, yeah, you was at my house last night. And I was like, oh yeah, 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 yeah. He's like, I said, yeah, I just finished doing a loan application, heading on home to scan it back. You're like, all right, man, well, you have a good one. Now, you say, what's the significance of all this, Griff? First, when you make a good impression, you come in with the right vibe, people going to want to do business with you. Within 5 minutes, this gentleman's asking me for my business card. Bam. Then less than 24 hours later, he sees me again and he takes the time out. He recognizes me because it's not hard to recognize that head, but he recognizes me. And he probably said, why you didn't recognize him? Well, honestly, because I was so focused on getting the documents done and his mask really covered his face up. And he recognized me and took the time out to get my attention and to speak. That tells me he sold on me. I was like, that is a win-win. So what I'm sharing with y'all, when you do this business, you got to come in there right and exact. You got to come in there with the right attitude, the right mindset, the right vibe. You cannot go in there, I'm going to just slang a bunch of documents down on the table at you. I ain't going to show you this. I ain't going to show you that. I know a lot of people talk about, well, I don't give people their copy until afterwards. I don't do that. As soon as I get there, here's your copy. I'm glad that I did that, which that's my standard, because this gentleman was looking for particular things in there. So if you sit there and hold the documents back, hold their documents back, and they got to ask you, sort of like they got to beg you to get their documents, and he's a loan officer or a processor or anybody within the mortgage industry, they're gonna be like, what's up with this notary? Why I can't get my documents? And I know people like to do that because they're like, well, it helps speed it along because I don't want them to be looking through the documents and slowing stuff up. I don't care. Here you go. It keeps them busy instead of just staring at me while I add their stuff into my notary log. And it gives them something to look at. So I let him do his thing. I'm like, here you go. And he really didn't look at it. He glanced at it a little bit and we got to going. So you got to come with the right vibe. You got to come with the right mindset. You can't be one of these popcorn notaries that pop in there and it's like we done. All right, I'm out. The guy had an issue. There was a problem, and here's something I learned to share with y'all. Normally, and this is where I've learned and I taught, and I just found a caveat to it. Normally, if whoever's on the note is going to be on the loan application, because the promissory note is the people promising to pay the loan back. What I found out last night, and he didn't even know this. He didn't even know this. He had a feeling why his wife was on the note, even though she wasn't on the loan application. We called the title company. The title company did their research, talked to the closing team, came back. And see, this is why it's important for you to call and ask questions, people, when you're stuck on something instead of hopping on Facebook. Facebook would have never give you this answer. Now they're gonna give you the answer now that I'm telling you the answer, but prior to now, Facebook would not have been able to give you the answer definitively. Might have been speculatory. or speculative. His wife was on the note, even though she wasn't on the loan application to apply for the loan because it was in a trust. Now, I hadn't been taught that. And I had never been in a situation where the wife was on the note and wasn't also a borrower. That was my first time, whether the wife or the husband, or I just say the spouse. So he was like, the only thing I can think of is that it has to be because she's on, the trust. And then when we talked to the post closing team or the representative who talked to the post closing team, that's what they confirmed. So if it's a trust and she's not on the loan application to had applied for the loan, which means she would be on a promissory note, but she's on the promissory note anyway, and it's a trust, that is more than likely the reason why, because it's a trust. They didn't give him the specific details all the way down to the gnats behind, but he just said, this is what our team is saying. This is the reason why, because it's a trust. Therefore, I guess he's going to do some research and figure that out a little bit more. And if I get a chance to, I'm going to do some research myself. But that was pretty cool. But the bottom line is, I made a great connection last night. The gentleman, he liked me from the get go. A loan officer interviewing me. That's what I'm saying. Every time you go into one of these loan closing, you're being interviewed. People are checking you out. They're trying to see. People are even the people who I did the reverse mortgage to. They checked me out and they was like, "Hey, do you do other notary stuff?" "Yeah, I do." "Okay, because I'm gonna be putting a will together. Can I call you?" "Yeah, here's my card." They want to know that. They're like, "Hey, yeah, because if you're a notary, you just limited to this?" No. You got to come across the right way, people. You come across with the right vibe, with the right energy, with the right positivity, if that's a word, I guess. People will be like, "Well, man, I would like to continue to do business with you." And I think this week alone, what today is? The Tuesday. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, this week and part of last week. I don't know. I feel like it's later in the week, but to starting yesterday and sometime last week, I think I had altogether 3 or 4 people was like, "Hey, you do other stuff than loans, right?" "Yeah, give me your card because we got family stuff that we need to take care of, and if we need a notary, we're gonna hit you up." So I don't even have to go in there advertising who I am. I ain't got to go in there slipping flyers and slipping this and slipping that. You come out right, they're gonna be like, "Hey, yeah, this is the cat we want. We want this person right here." Because you come in there and you show yourself professional, especially if you're on time. You call them ahead of time and let them know that you're running late. As soon as I saw that I was running late, I explained to them what was going on. I said, "Look, I just received your documents and I was running late behind some other appointments, so I'll be there shortly." "All right, cool, thank you." And everything went well. And then for him to take time out, he could have just looked and said, "Okay, yeah, that's the notary, big deal." But he stopped me like, "Hey, just want to talk to you. Hey, say hey to you." That's a win for me. So if that man needs me, he know if he ever need a notary, I already know who he gonna call. And that's what I want for you. But you can't get that if you're not doing the notarizations and presenting yourself, not so much the documents, because he didn't even ask anything, because he already knew being the loan officer. But by carrying yourself correctly and conducting what you're there to do correctly, they'll be like, "Yeah, we want to work with that cat. Yeah, he or she is somebody we want to work with. That's somebody I can trust to notarize documents for me." And it has turned out to where people have called me back later and said, "Hey, we got this document. Can you come over to the house and notarize it?" "No problem. Come over and take care of it." It's that simple. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. I'm about to go out and knock out some house inspections real quick before my 4 o'clock appointment. I had a great appointment today at 10, loan application, $85 to do that. And it only took, I mean, barely 20 minutes, maybe 30 at the most. Got in, got out, did my scan back. I just sat here for a couple of hours chilling, just relaxing. I'm still a little tired because a couple of nights ago, I basically was up for like 36 hours, almost 36 or something like that. and straight, you know, 36 hours straight or something like that. And I'm still a little tired from that. Had a lot of work to get done, and I couldn't go to sleep. Plus, I had took a nap the day before. That after that Saturday afternoon, I took a nap, got up at 4 o'clock, and I ain't go to bed till like midnight Sunday. So from 4 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the afternoon Saturday, all the way till midnight Sunday, I was up. And so I'm still a little tired from that. But I had a lot of work to get done, and I still got some work to get done. So it is what it is, y'all. But I'm out. Y'all have a good one. But I just wanted to share that with y'all. Another win. And they got to keep them spiders away from me. Peace.